All right, you guys. Here is my fight predictions. Your boy. Fight predictions for UFC 240. Holloway versus Edgar. Um, the card's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. All right, I'm gonna get straight into the prelims, the early prelims. First fight, heavyweight bout. Tanner Boser versus Giacomo Lemos. These guys are both making their debuts. I watched Tanner's highlights and I also watched Giacomo. Um, the little bit of highlights that they did have, even though Tanner has like 24 fights, 25 fights, and Giacomo doesn't have that many. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this one. I'm gonna just roll with Tanner Boser. I feel like he has better cardio for sure. Giacomo tends to gas out within 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, somewhere around there. He usually gasses out within by the end of the first round or the beginning of the second round. So if Tanner can just keep the output going, both of these guys aren't really knockout artists like that though. So I see this, and it's weird because they're heavyweights, but I don't feel like, I don't know, maybe they're not natural heavyweights or they just don't have that kind of punching power. So I see this going to decision or maybe a late TKO stoppage, third round. But I definitely see Tanner Boser winning. I don't really see Giacomo Lemos winning. Yeah, so I'm gonna roll with Tanner Boser. Next fight, Eric Koch versus Kyle Stewart. There's not really much to say about this fight either, man. Eric Koch was a good prospect when he was coming up. 15-6 versus 8-1. Kyle Stewart 6'2". Eric Koch's 5'10". Damn, I didn't realize Kyle Stewart had that much reach advantage. He has like a 5-inch reach advantage over Eric Koch, and Eric Koch's usually the taller fighter when he's fighting. I'm gonna roll with Eric Koch. I mean, Kyle Stewart could get the job done, but I'm gonna roll with Eric Koch just because I know a little bit more about that fighter. I didn't do too much research on Kyle Stewart. I've only watched one of his fights, and it was his debut fight in the UFC. So they're both coming off losses. Yeah, they're both coming off losses. So Eric Koch by TKO, or maybe a decision victory. All right, next fight. Jillian Robertson versus Sarah Froda. Shit. I mean, Sarah Froda's last performance was kind of garbage. She fought, who did she fight? What's her name? Viviane Arajo, which is also on the card. She fought her, and Viviana fucking pieced her up, and she was like 7 pounds overweight. So I'm interested to see if she's going to be overweight for this fight versus Jillian. I feel like Jillian has better ground game, better submissions. Her stand-up's decent. It's not great, but it's good enough to beat Sarah Froda. I feel like Jillian's game plan on this one should be to just take her down and submit her, and she definitely can do that. Sarah Froda's, she's kind of slow. She tries to have a lot of output, but she tends to gas out. She is 9-1. She's 5'6". Jillian's from Canada, so she's going to be fighting at home. She's 5'5". Yeah, I mean, I see Jillian getting a submission victory over Sarah Froda. I just don't see this other chick winning. I mean, this fight actually could go both ways, either way, but I can't pick Froda, especially after her last performance, dude. She came in 7 pounds overweight. She was basically a whole size bigger than this other chick, and she still got fucked up. So, and I was like worried about picking the Viviana girl versus her because she was so much bigger. I was like, man, this girl's gonna dominate her. She's probably gonna take her down on the ground and just lay on her, like, and win by decision or something. But it didn't happen like that. She got fucked up. So yeah, I'm rolling with Jillian to win that one by either a second or third round submission or possibly a decision. All right, we're going into the prelims now. Alexandra Pantoja, ranked number 3, versus Dievison Figueiredo, ranked number 4. Man, this is a really close fight. This could go either way. Davison just came off of his first loss against Jussier Formiga. 15-1, man. And this guy's fought pretty good people, like in the UFC and out of the UFC. But I see a lot of people picking Davison too. I see a lot of people picking him. He's an underdog in this fight. He's not a bad underdog pick, but I'm not going to be picking him. I'm going to roll with Alexandre Pantoja. He has really good ground game, and I feel like for him to beat Davison, he has to get him on the ground and submit him, or just work him on the ground, like make sure he doesn't get back up. Davison's really explosive. Alexandre Pantoja's kind of a late starter. He takes a minute to really get warmed up, but I do feel like he will get the job done. I feel like he can submit Davison. It's not going to be, if anyone knocks anyone out, it's going to be Davison knocking out Alexandre Pantoja. If Alexandre Pantoja keeps his game plan and just takes him down and wears him out on the ground and tries to submit him, I don't think he's going to wear him out, though. Davison has a pretty good gas tank. So I see this being either decision victory or probably a submission victory by Alexandre Pantoja. But, I mean, this could go either way, man. So, I mean, if you're going to pick Davison, that's not a bad pick either. He's definitely a really good fighter. 15-1. I mean, his record says it all. And Pantoja's coming off of a win. I can't remember who he fought last, though. I'm not going to look it up right now. But, yeah, I'm rolling with Alexandra. Next fight, Gavin Tucker versus Sung-Woo Choi. I think that's how you say his name. Gavin Tucker's 10-1. He's 5'7". He's coming off of a loss. Choi is 7-1, 5'11". South Korean. 71% knockout rating versus a 40% knockout rating. My first instinct was to pick Gavin Tucker. He has pretty good stand-up. His wrestling's all right. But something's telling me to pick Choi on this one. I don't know why. Choi's long. He's rangy. He's got a nice jab. That's really all I know about these two fighters, honestly. But I'm going to roll with my gut, and I'm going to pick Choi to win by decision. Or even, I mean, maybe even a fucking TKO, man. He hits hard. Choi hits pretty hard, so I'm going to roll with that guy on that one. Hakeem Dawodu versus Yoshinori Horii. I think that's how you say his name. Man, some of these, I've never heard of some of these fighters. This guy, Yoshinori, is making his debut against Hakeem, which is 9-0 and 1 no contest. Hakeem's fighting from Canada, so he's fighting at home. I'm rolling with Hakeem. I didn't do any research on Yoshinori. Hakeem's coming off of a win. And he's just an explosive, talented, up-and-coming fighter. He hits hard. He's well-rounded. He could get the job done anywhere. He could get the job done with... I think the last person that he lost to was Danny Henry. He got submitted by Danny Henry. He just got caught. That was his debut, too, so... he's definitely warmed up into the UFC now, and I feel like he'll finish this guy. I don't know nothing. I don't know what this other guy's game plan is, if he's a submission specialist or if he's a wrestler, knockout artist, whatever he is. I just feel like Hakeem will probably get it done. He is the favorite by far in this fight just because Yoshinori's making his debut. But I could see why he is the heavily favored fighter. He's got knockout power. He's got submission game. He's got decent ground game. He did get submitted, like I said, from Danny Henry. But I don't see that happening in this fight. I feel like this could either be a short fight or a decision victory for Hakeem. So either way that goes, I feel like he'll win the fight. Next fight, ranked 7, Alexis Davis, women's flyweight bout versus ranked 15, Viviane Araújo. I just talked about Viviane. She just came off of a win on her debut versus Frota. She looked really good. High output. And she hits hard. She's got nice kicks, nice jabs. Her striking looked really good. We didn't get to see too much of her ground game in that fight, but I think she got a few takedowns in the fight, if I remember correctly. Alexis Davis is going to probably try to take her down, wear her out on the ground. I don't see that happening. Alexis Davis has a 42% submission rating. Viviane has 57% submission rating. Sometimes these stats on here don't mean shit. Actually, most of the time they don't mean shit. But I feel like Viviane is going to just piece her up. She's got clean striking. Alexis Davis got all right striking. And she's been around for a while now. Alexis Davis I'm not going to say she needs to give it up, but she's fighting a young, hungry bull, man. Viviane is going to I just see her fucking her up in the first round and probably getting the stoppage. She hits hard. Her last fight, she was fucking that Froda chick up. So, yeah, I'm rolling with her. There's not really much. I'm not going to say too much about Alexis Davis. I've watched a few of her fights. I'm still not impressed. She's been in the UFC for some years now. So, yeah, I'm going to roll with the up-and-coming, hungry, young fighter. All right, main card. Marc-Andre Barriault, middleweight bout versus Krzysztof Jotko. Jotko had a really good performance in his last fight. He went back to his old school way of fighting. His wrestling, man. His wrestling. For a while there, he was just he kept trying to outstrike strikers. And that is not the best game plan to have when you're not a natural striker. He's a natural wrestler, so you got to stick to your game plan, man. If he was fighting other wrestlers and he had better striking, I could see him trying to strike. But if you're trying to just beat somebody at their own game, it's not the smartest thing to do, man. You should just stick to your own game and try and get the win. So he has a 77-inch reach advantage. They're both 6'1". Marc-Andre Barriault has a 75-inch reach advantage. He's 11-1 fighting out of Canada. I'm rolling with the underdog, Marc-Andre. He's a huge underdog in this one. I just feel like if Jotko can't get this guy down on the ground, Mark will definitely piece him up and tag him on the feet. Jotko's a good fighter. He's pretty well-rounded, but he is a little chinny. He can get knocked out. He got knocked out by, Uriah Hall. I don't remember who else knocked him out. Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares TKO'd him as well. So, this is another fight. This could go either way. Krzysztof Jotko is definitely still a hungry fighter. He's still young. He has a lot in the gas tank. His cardio's decent. Barry hasn't had that many fights in the UFC yet, so this really, fuck, man. This is a pick'ems fight. You gotta just pick whatever one your gut's telling you to pick, and my gut's telling me to pick Marc-Andre, so I'm gonna roll with him. He's in his home country. Hopefully he gets the decision victory. I feel like it will go to decision, or he'll get a TKO victory over Krzysztof Jotko. Jotko's going to keep trying to take him down, and I don't feel like he'll be able to take him down that easy. Even though Marc-Andre just lost his debut versus Andrew Sanchez, I want to say, and he just kept getting taken down and didn't really have an answer for it. So Krzysztof could definitely do that to him. But, yeah, I'm rolling with Marc-Andre on this one. Next fight, Olivier Aubry, lightweight bout versus Arman Sarikhan. I don't know if that's how you say his name. That guy just had his debut fight not too long ago. The Canadian gangster, man. I'm rolling with Olivier. I've been a fan of him for a while. He didn't have a good performance his last fight. I don't really remember who he fought, but I just remember he didn't look that good. They're both 5'9", both coming off losses, 12-1 and 12-4. I don't know much about Arman. Yeah, he fought Khabib's cousin, lost by decision. They're both really tough fighters. Olivier's ground game is nice. Arman's ground game is all right. I think Arman's striking is better than Olivier's. But I'm going to roll with Olivier, man. He's in his hometown. He's hungry. He's going to want to get a win. The Canadians are going to show out, man. The Canadians are going to show out on this card for sure. That's what I'm feeling right now. So, yeah, Olivier by decision. Next fight, Hands of Steel, man. Jeff Neal versus the hybrid, Nico Price. This is a really fucking hard fight to call. This is a really hard fight to call for me because I like both of these fighters. Jeff Neal, man, that head kick over Frank Camacho was just nasty. It was just deadly. Like, Frank Camacho's body just basically, like, collapsed. His whole body just gave out on him. And he was already getting fucked up in the whole fight. So it's like, for him to take that head kick at the end, too, and just, yeah, it wasn't pleasant. Jeff Neal's 5'11". Nico Price is 6 foot. I'm pretty sure Nico has the reach advantage. Oh, he only has the reach advantage by 1 inch. 76-inch reach versus 75-inch. He just seems like he has really long arms when he's fighting. He's pretty decent with his stand-up. He hits hard. We seen that with the Randy Brown fight when Randy Brown was trying to take him down next to the cage, and he fucking knocked Randy Brown out cold. Knocked him out cold from the bottom. Hammer fist to the jaw. Something real vicious, like real vicious. I picked Nico Price in that fight too. I didn't pick Randy Brown. But, I mean, Randy Brown is not, like, Nico's been fighting good fighters in the UFC. So is Jeff Neal. I feel like Nico's fought a few better fighters than Jeff, but I feel like Jeff has that power in his hands. I don't really want to pick against Nico because I haven't picked against Nico since he's been in the UFC. And his performance against fucking Tim Means, that performance against Tim Means was just pure heart, dude. Like, he was getting his ass beat. No lie, he was getting his ass beat. And he came back. Like, Tim Means was pressuring him too much, and Nico just came back and just the heart of a warrior, man. He came back and just knocked his ass cold out, and I think that was Tim Means' first or second knockout loss. Like, I don't think Tim Means has been knocked out that many times. Means is a tough motherfucker, so for Nico to knock him out like that, and Nico was on wobbly legs, like, he could have went out at any second. This is going to be the first fight that I'm picking against Nico Price. I'm picking Jeff Neal on this one. I feel like Jeff hits harder. He has the cleaner striking. But Nico has ground game too, man. He has submission game. I don't know if Jeff Neal has submission game like that. I know that he has really good striking. But yeah, fuck, dude. This is a hard fight for me to call. 91% takedown defense. That's all I needed to see. Jeff Neal's takedown defense. So, because I feel like if Nico gets hurt, he's going to definitely shoot for a takedown and try to get a submission victory over Jeff Neal. I don't see that happening. Jeff by first round knockout over Nico Price. Maybe even a second round knockout, just because Jeff tends to start a little slow. And, I mean, he is a high volume fighter, but somewhat not at the same time. I mean, I guess the fighter that he fights, basically, he like mimics the other fighters, basically, the way his fighting style is. Because I noticed Frank Camacho kept trying to pressure him, and Jeff just pressured right back. So if you don't pressure him, then it doesn't seem like he really pressures back. It just seems like he hits you with a few clean strikes and then gets you out of there. But yeah, Jeff Neal to win that. Next fight, co-main event, Chris Cyborg versus Felicia Spencer. Man, I wish I would have picked Felicia Spencer versus Megan Anderson. Megan Anderson, like, fucked my whole DraftKings lineup up. She fucked my Bovado lineups up. She lost me some fucking money, dude. I was pissed about that because she was the only person that I needed to win on most of those. And a lot of people were saying Felicia Spencer was going to beat her up and take her on the ground. I just didn't see that. The height advantage, I felt like Felicia wasn't going to be able to get takedowns on Megan, and that's all she needed was one takedown. And she submitted her, rear naked choke. And it's like, fuck, like you didn't practice any, like, submission defense at all? So, yeah, that's probably the last time I'll ever pick Megan Anderson in a UFC fight. Her striking's nice, but I don't know. If she can work on her ground game and get better on the ground, then she's going to be a beast. But Felicia Spencer made her look like she shouldn't even belong in the UFC. Chris Cyborg, okay, we already know she came off a loss to Amanda Nunes. It's been almost a year. She's got the height advantage, she's got the reach advantage, she's got the strength advantage. We all know that she has knockout power. She hits really hard. Most people can't take Cyborg down. 91% takedown defense, so it's going to be interesting to see if Felicia Spencer can even get her on the ground, because if she tries to go for a takedown, Chris Cyborg is going to be throwing the hammers at her. She's going to be throwing the hammers at her, dude. And she always comes in shape. So it's like, I'm going to roll with Chris Cyborg on this one. I can't really roll with Felicia Spencer, even though she beat Megan Anderson. She hasn't fought anybody like Chris Cyborg before. Chris Cyborg, I feel like, is going to knock her out in the first round. Plain and simple. She's coming off that loss against Nunez, and she's hungry. She wants to get that back. She wants to get that win back. So in order for her to get that win back, she needs to have a few fights and beat a few people. Shit, if she beats Felicia Spencer in a dominant fashion, she might get a title shot right away. So, yeah, Chris Cyborg by KO, TKO stoppage, first round. Main event. Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar. Featherweight title bout. Max Holloway hasn't lost in 5 years or over 5 years, something crazy like that. I mean, other than, like, I'm talking about in his weight class. We all know he just lost against Dustin Poirier. He's lost to Dustin Poirier twice. That was a different weight class. Frankie Edgar's 5'6", Max Holloway's 5'11". Holloway's only got a 1-inch reach advantage, but he's got a 3-inch leg reach advantage. So this is going to be an interesting fight. Holloway is a pressure fighter. He has a lot of volume. Frankie Edgar is a pressure fighter. He also has a lot of volume. They both have great cardio. Edgar's just older. He's like 37 or 38. Holloway's 27. Young bull. It's crazy to think that they have almost the same fight experience, too. It's just like 29 fights to 23 fights. It's just... And Frankie Edgar, like, he just seems so old. He's been in the UFC for so long. I'm not going to get too into depth on this one. The only way Frankie Edgar can beat Holloway in this fight, he's not going to knock Holloway out. I just don't see it. The only way I see him winning is by a decision or grinding him out. Oh, yeah, grinding him out with a decision victory, or maybe even... maybe trying to get a TKO stoppage. But if Dustin Poirier couldn't get a TKO stoppage over Max Holloway, I just don't see Frankie Edgar doing that. I see him trying to use his wrestling and getting him on the ground, keep taking him down. He tends to try and get people against the cage, take him down. If he can't take him down, he'll go back up top, throw a few hammers, go back down, try to get a takedown. He's that kind of fighter. He's a pace, like very fast-paced fighter, a lot of cardio. So, but I'm gonna roll with Max Holloway. I'm rolling with Blessed. He's gonna TKO Frankie Edgar. Edgar lost by KO for the first time in his career versus Brian Ortega, which I picked Brian Ortega in that fight. I didn't think he was gonna knock him out. I thought he was gonna submit him. Holloway has both. He has ground game. He has submissions. He has knockout power. Frankie Edgar has all the same stuff as Holloway. I just feel like Holloway's better and he's younger. He's gonna get the job done first or second round. I mean, it could go to decision, though. Could go to decision. I just can't pick Frankie Edgar in this one. I'm a fan of both fighters. I'm rolling with Blessed all the way. All right, those are my fight predictions. If you guys like the video, subscribe, hit the like button. I'm being more consistent with doing these fight predictions each week. So, yeah. And last week I did pretty fucking good. So... hopefully I win some cash this weekend. My palms have been itching, so I think I'm going to win. Anyways, you guys enjoy the fights. Enjoy your weekend. All right.